everyone. Today I'm going to make a delicious Keerai Kadayal, but this time round I'm adding an additional ingredient into the dish, which would be lentils. The addition of lentils into the Keerai Kadayal makes it super healthy because lentils has got fiber, it's got lots of different types of vitamins, and it has protein. So today's Keerai Kadayal would be one with lentils. And if I were to describe what Keerai Kadayal is in English, it is basically a mushy gravy dish made from either amaranth or spinach, either one of these, but it's usually made of green leaves. Quite often, the type of lentil that is used for Keerai Kadayal is this one, which is mung beans. This is whole and not skinned, unskinned mung beans. So mung beans look like these. Can you see that? They're like that. Not skinned and it's whole. So using unskinned mung beans makes it even more healthy because the skin is extra fiber. I am going to add this because for Keerai Kadayal this gives a distinct flavor. But I'm also going to add a little bit of my go-to dal mix, which I make myself. And I think I've mentioned earlier that my dal mix is the type of mix that I use, which I use for my sambars, I use for my dalcha, I use for whatever, most of my vegetables as well. I would use this mix. So this mix is my own mixture, which I have some Mysore dal, and then I have some Malawi dal, and I have some skinned and split mung beans. So this is my go-to dal, mix. So, but that being said, if this is a subjective issue, you could use any kind of lentil that suits your preference. So do use what you like to use in your Keerai Kadayal. I will lay down the ingredients in two batches. This is my first batch, and as for the lentils, this is 1/3 cup of my mixed dals, and this is half a cup of mung beans. I am going to soak these for about an hour prior to actually doing anything. You can soak it for about half an hour as well, it's fine, but a little bit of soaking makes the whole the cooking process faster. So these two are also part. I had forgotten to add it to my first batch of ingredients. This is two small tomatoes chopped, and this is one eggplant that I'm going to chop and put it into the dish as well. This is an eggplant. You can take any kind of eggplant really. This is my second batch of ingredients, all of these. So I'm going to add the dal inside. I've soaked it for a little longer than I said I would, because I, as usual, ended up doing some other things. So the dal goes in, dal is in, the tomatoes, the onions, the garlic, and the chilies. By the way, I put one of these, which is going to give you an added spice. And as for this, I'm just going to cut it in little pieces. The eggplant, I'm going to cut it in maybe 6 pieces. Oh yeah, you got to check. You must always check to see if there's some worms or stuff inside the. Sometimes you might find some worms inside. Well, there's nothing here. So all that goes in, and I'm going to add a little bit of water, just enough to cover the dal. Not too much. Spoon. Just enough to cover the dal. Okay, just that much. Then I'm going to put some turmeric powder inside. Just a little bit of turmeric powder. Just about 1/4 of a spoon. That's it. Okay. Some salt. About a teaspoon of salt. And now just a little bit of oil, so that sometimes the dal can come up and create a mess. So I'm not going to let that happen today. So I'm going to close it and let it cook. So I've turned the heat on, and I'm just going to wait for about 3 to 4 whistles until the lentils, the mung beans, and the other dals are all nice and like almost cooked, like sort of partially cooked, and then I'll take it out. So I've heard a few whistles already, about 3. I've moved it. I've moved my pressure cooker to a different area to just sort of let it cool. Just remember, guys, that when the pressure cooker is really full of pressure and it's really hot, do not attempt to open the lid, because that could be dangerous. So you should let it cool. Take off the weight a little bit, take off the weight slowly, and then let it cool on its own, and then attempt to open the lid. All right. So now I'm going to open it. If you don't have a pressure cooker, guys, it doesn't matter at all. All you have to do is get a big pot and boil your lentils in that pot. So now this is how it looks like. Let me see if I can get you to see it. Okay, that's how it looks like. It looks like it's partially cooked. I am going to attempt to put the leaves inside now. Let me just check this first. So I'm going to put my spinach inside. As you can see, I haven't really cut the spinach very small or anything like that, because well, once you put it into the blender, or you once you try to mash it up, it's fine. So I'm going to wash this and then put it back inside. So it doesn't matter how you cut it. You can just put it in. So you see my stems are like that. So I'm just going to dump it in now, and then I am going to try and pressure cook this again for maybe 1 whistle. So a little bit more water, just a little bit, and then I'm going to close it and turn on the lid. Maybe let it pressure cook for about a minute, and then we'll see how it goes. I'm going to let the whistle, let it whistle. After 1 whistle, I'm going to take it off. So I think by then the vegetable would be just nice and soft enough for me to mash it. So basically, that 1 whistle had already gone off, and I just put it over the stove for just a few more minutes because I wanted it to cook a little bit more. So this is how it looks like right now. You can see that. Yes. And now I'm going to strain it. So what I'm going to do now is to strain it. I'm going to try and pour it in here. Let me see if I can. Oh, it's going to be a bit difficult. Or you could use a slotted spoon to get it out as well. Okay. I'm going to use a spoon. So once you've strained it, I'll show you what to do. The reason I'm straining it is because I don't want to blend it with the liquid that is collected over there. I just want to blend the vegetable, the lentils, and so on, and I'm going to put it in here. But I am not. Remember that we should not throw away that liquid that is collected, because that has got all that nutrition as well. So that will go in. Once I've blended it, then I'll add it into. Once I've blended this vegetable, I will add that to this liquid. So this liquid will not be thrown away. I'm going to blend the vegetable now, and remember that if you're using a blender or a food processor, try to use the pulse button and not the 1, 2, 3 and so on, because you don't want it to be like finely ground. You want it to be just like a little bit chunky as well. So I'm going to do this and I'll show you how I take it out. If you feel that you need a little bit of extra liquid, you can just add that in. Just a bit of the same liquid, guys, okay? The same one where the vegetable was cooking in. So now I'm going to do it once more and pulse it. I've ground it or blended it, and it looks like this. So that's how it's supposed to look. A little bit chunky, okay? A little bit it's mushy, but it's chunky as well. It's not a fine blend, right? So I've just added all this liquid in here, and I've put that the ground or the blended amaranth into this my nice little fancy dish. And now I'm going to temper some spices. Oh yeah, please check to see if you have enough salt. If you don't, now is the time to add some salt. Heat this up a little bit and then add the salt. Oh, I forget, if you like it creamy, add a little bit of coconut milk. So as you can see, it looks really lovely like that, but of course I'm going to stir it. I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir, and then I'm going to temper some spices and put it right on the top. So that would be really lovely. That tempered spices always gives the vegetable an added, well, as I've always said, it takes it to the next level. So now, guys, I'm going to heat up some oil. You can use oil or you can use ghee. You know, I'm a bit of a someone who's crazy for ghee, so I'm going to use. I know it shouldn't use too much, but just a little bit is fine. Okay, that's my ghee, and now I'm going to add the spices. A little bit of whole urad dal goes in there. Okay, and some mixed spices, which is cumin seeds, mustard seeds, and split urad dal. And then I'm putting in some of these, which is my dried chilies. I'm just going to break it open because I hear that this particular type is very, very spicy. But you know, I like spice. My daughter and I, we can take spice, but my husband, no. So we usually have to be a little careful. And just to let you know, yeah, well, maybe I'll tell you that a little later. Okay, in that goes in. Oh, it's too slow. Once that sort of heats up a little bit, I'm going to add my asafoetida. I keep saying asafoetida for some reason. This goes in. About a spoonful. Mix it all up. Let that sound of the spluttering happen, and then we put the onions in. In goes the onions. You don't need onions if you don't want to. So I'm gonna throw this away. I think there's just too much onions I've cut. So you just put in the onions now. You can add a little bit of oil if you like, if it's a little too dry. Okay. Give this a bit of a stir. Make sure that asafoetida has, sort of, it doesn't clump up. Sometimes you see it clumping up here and there. So now you can. Okay. And now you add it to the top of the amaranth mashed gravy. So you can stir it in, but I kind of like it looking like this. At least for the pictures, it looks pretty. So I'm going to leave it like this for a while. And this is how it looks. This is how it looks. So this is how it looks. Doesn't it look absolutely yummy? So guys, this is how it looks like. Oh, this little casserole dish doesn't quite do it justice, but it is really delicious, and do give it a shot. I did mention in one of my shorts, I think, that we Malaysian Indians, we tend to add an extra element into this Keerai Kadayal to give it an extra kick. And that ingredient is usually anchovy. So while we're doing our tempered spices, but we're tempering the spices and the onions and so on, sometimes we would add some anchovies in there, dry anchovies into the oil, and the anchovies start to crisp up. And then when we put that into the dish, anchovies are a little salty. So while we're eating, it really is delicious with the extra salty taste. But I don't usually do that because this is my daughter's all-time favorite food, and she's vegetarian. So I try to make it a habit to make this dish all vegetarian. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do give this recipe a shot. If you like my videos, do give me a like, a thumbs up. Do subscribe to my channel and do share my videos. Thank you so much, everybody. Here's Shakila Shanmugam signing off. Bye, everyone.